I don't know if it's true. I hope not. But I just found out that it's possible that Dr. Anthony Fauci has been involved sending funding to a lab that has been torturing beagles as part of a drug study. The torture allegedly includes letting them be eaten alive by sandflies and cutting out their vocal cords so they cannot cry out in pain. As a longtime owner, lover, and aficionado of beagles, I find the notion that he's doing this expressly repugnant. Whether or not he's doing it, it is something that happens all the time. I'm aware of, right now, some beagles that are available for adoption in California that were rescued from a lab in China. Makes me wonder what they did to them there that are available. I'll splice that in here so you can see it. All right, so I mentioned there are some dogs available that have been involved in testing. You can see right here, this one right here, this is Tiger. I know from having looked at some of these before, we'll go ahead and click on Tiger here. In a laboratory, 4 years old. That's typically the age at which they get rescued, is somewhere between 3 and 7 years old. So here we have Tiger's profile. Again, he's in the California area. It doesn't say where he was tested. Sometimes they do. This one doesn't happen to indicate where he was found for testing. These are other dogs they have rescued. None of these look like they are tested dogs. There used to be a lot on here who were. But looks like, oh, there's another one right here. Lucky wasn't so very lucky. Was in a testing facility. So Lucky is again 4 years old. This one's in Phoenix. That's good for those of you who don't live in California. So the Beagle Freedom Project apparently has locations around, but it doesn't say what kind of testing facility again. But I can tell from looking at these eyes that is definitely a dog that's been abused. And let's see, that's not a beagle, but looks like it's been testing. Well, here's some that were up here before last time I was here. Missy is 7. Missy was in an animal testing facility for 7 years. And of course, even though I'm on campus, the internet's slow. Locked in a crate. Other animals that came with Misty at the time in this laboratory testing facility were actually from China. So this is one of the ones that showed up at the same time as those. It just doesn't say in her profile that she was rescued from China by the Beagle Freedom Project. But anyway, you can see in here that there are plenty of dogs or beagles who have been used and abused by animals or for animal testing, and this one actually looks pretty good for 10 and having been tested on. But there are lots of opportunities for you to show love to animals instead of those who've decided to use them as an excuse to claim they love other humans. So that's that. A lot of people try to make the claim that if you love animals, you're a good person. I know this is not true because lots of bad people throughout time have had dogs. Doesn't mean they love the dogs, but they did have them. And sometimes dogs will love bad people because dogs know that there's good in some people and will love them anyway. But if you are mean to animals, I cannot see how you are a good person. If you're intentionally cruel, that is the beginning sign of sociopathy for many serial killers. Many of them begin by torturing animals first, or being people who are totally okay with the notion that torturing animals is acceptable. I just wanted to introduce you to a few of mine that I love and miss. This was my 16-year-old beagle. This is Indiana. He died of natural causes in May of 2019. This is Yoda and Xena. Yoda died of cancer at the age of 12 in February of 2019. Xena died at the age just shy of 14 in 2020, August of 2020, also because of cancer. And 2 months ago, Hold on. Let's see here. Yeah, that'll work. This adequately conveys the image I want you to see. 2 months ago, I brought home Courage that I rescued. He's about 6 months old now. And, yeah, he causes some frustration on my part, but not to the point where I want to kill him or would revel in the notion of him being tortured or intentionally harmed. If it is true that Fauci is complicit in this, especially if he's consciously complicit in this, that makes him, in my opinion, one of the worst kinds of humans imaginable on the planet. Yes, it is true that we eat animals. Those are animals that we raise for food, and in America we do not raise beagles for food. Beagles are often used in animal testing because they trust humans as much, because they are easy to handle, because of their temperament, their disposition towards humans, to where they are the easiest dog on which to do tests. So at the end of this video, I'm going to splice in information so that if you want to, you can get in touch with the Beagle Freedom Project, which rescues dogs that have been used in labs. Usually they're anywhere from 4 to 7 years old. So they're already tainted, I guess, because these are dogs that will love you if you love them at all. At all. Finally, I wanted to say this. It is telling that although I raised beagles with my ex-wife, they all preferred my company over hers. If Dr. Fauci has been testing on animals, he should be punished. And whether he's punished here or in the eternities, he will get his comeuppance. Because they have souls, they have spirits, they are more than just a dog. And anyone who's ever owned one knows that. What a travesty. What a shame. What a corrupt and evil man he must be, if this is true. If it's not, and I hope it's not, then let's go after the things that people really have done that are evil and focus on those. Because there's plenty of that in the world. And the way we treat animals is probably the least of our problems. But it is a significant one, and it is a clearly measurable indemnification of anyone who does it. Go love your dog, if you've got one. And if you don't have one, consider getting one, because they'll love you back. I promise. Godspeed and good night. All right, so this is the Beagle Freedom Project website I mentioned earlier that rescues animals, particularly beagles, from places where they have been used in animal testing. So if you want to get involved here, you can see the URL up here, the shortcut here, beaglefreedomproject.org/adoptable/dog. And they're located in California, but they do have an application. I will tell you, having filled this out myself, not living in California, they don't tend to reach out to people unless you live in California, because that's a way for them to make sure that the dogs don't go from one unwelcome environment to another. But that's an option. Please feel free to get involved if you feel it is in any way possible something that fits into your life, your schedule, and your budget. Because while a person can not care about people, some people, and care about others, someone who doesn't care about animals at all, their ability to actually truly care for people is probably minimal. If you don't know how to take care of and care for something that's helpless and dependent, it's very, very unlikely that your care, concern, and charity towards people is genuine in any way, shape, or form.